Comic fans, I got 10 bits of advice for you here of how you can save money in this extremely expensive hobby of ours. Purpose of this video is to be helpful, so if you guys can come up with any way you can save money, drop it down in the comments below. Let's help each other out, and let's start off 2025 with some good advice. The number one thing, if you take nothing away from this video, I put this at number one because it's so important, don't regrade. Holy shit, don't regrade. You think you can get a grade bump? It can't stop. Please listen to me. You're not getting the grade boost. It's not happening. Oh, but James, I see that this has never been cleaned or pressed. Doesn't matter. Pay attention. All grading companies have tighter standards than they used to 15, 20 years ago. So even if you very obviously improve a book, it still is going to be the same grade or lower, no matter what. For every single win I had last year, I had 10 more that were a massive fail. I have lost literally thousands of dollars. It keeps me up at night, and it's no joke. Be happy with the old slab. Don't regrade it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Don't scoff at non-keys. Most of the money that you can make if you're comic investing is going to come from churning and burning of things that are keys. But do not scoff at the non-key stuff. There's plenty of stuff, especially high-grade, non-key Batman, Bronze Age, ASM Bronze Age that aren't keys that actually have a really nice price tag associated with them. Sticking with Batman and ASM, there's a lot of non-keys that are actually now worth more than the small to mid-range keys from those same time periods. So if I were to do things differently, I would have done a little bit more holding on to the non-key stuff for certain eras. Now, 80s and 90s, they printed gajillions of that stuff. It's just not the same. Especially for the older stuff, though, it's not nothing. And even if it's not fantastic, it's at least good dollar bin. You understand the difference between rough dollar bin stuff and actually good dollar bin stuff? This one's the most obvious one on the list, but I implore you to avoid debt. I used to be a credit underwriter, and I think people need the wake-up call. If you have bad credit, oftentimes because of these hobbies of ours, you're not going to be able to rent. You're not going to be able to own, or it's going to make it infinitely harder for you. And as someone who has crawled out of a hole of debt myself, I know a lot of that was hard work, but at the same time, I feel a little bit lucky. I know a lot of people simply can't escape debt. So it is a hole you need to avoid so badly. If you don't have the money to spend, you can't buy it. It's as simple as that. The next is there's infinitely better investments than comic books. It's not as sexy, but if you want to save your money and be smart with your money, put it in a Roth, put it in a mutual fund. Make the money work for itself in tried and true ways. Everyone watching this video, especially in the last 4 or 5 years, has gotten burned, especially after COVID. There's such terrible financial losses that haunt me and will maybe haunt me my whole life that have happened in these past few years. Granted, I genuinely think the market is at the bottom it can ever go, so I do think it is going to inch its way up, but some books still have room to drop even farther. I know it doesn't seem like it can, but it can still happen. You can invest in way better things. This is fun to invest in, but it's not the same. The next is keep every damn email from CGC. I've been a CGC customer for 5 to 6 years now, and I still have the CGC billing department on speed dial. I still get double charged for books, charged the entire order even though half of them failed to pre-screen. All kinds of issues. I'd say 1 in every 8 submissions, I have a problem. So you need to hold on to every invoice. You need to be on that. Kind of a pain in the neck that we have to even address that, but it is what it is. Next, another really good one here. I saved a lot of money in the past years by stopping pressing. It used to be you like sending in gorgeous candidates and you throw in the press just to solidify it, to make it a 9.8. 2 things there. A press can sometimes pop a staple and actually damage a book and make it worse. If the comic is already perfect, forget the press. How I do grading now is I only send off perfect looking copies. I send it for a 9.8 pre-screen if it's a 9.8 candidate. I don't do the extra press. By switching to this mentality, I started seeing a lot more graded books come back to me 9.8. Some people say that grading's a bit of a racket. Well, I gotta tell you, so is pressing. There's a lot of great worth in pressing, especially for books that are not perfect. But there's a lot of new and modern books out there that are gorgeous as is, and you're wasting money pressing. Next, if you are someone who puts stuff on eBay, best thing I can tell you is to put 5 items up per day, and you can schedule them out. That seems to be the sweet spot in which the algorithm on eBay will notice you, and you'll start to get your stuff seen again. I stopped uploading on eBay, and would you know it, I had no books selling at all. But then once I started putting another 5 each day, my backlog of older stuff started selling again because more people were seeing it again. That's one of the best things I can tell you here. Buy bags and boards in bulk. And I'm talking about don't be afraid to get like a freight shipment in here. If you're someone who handles huge volumes of books, do one massive, scary, expensive purchase at the beginning of the year. Get yourself a massive shed full of bags and boards. By the way, not only is it cheaper, but bags and boards are getting so horribly delayed lately that you might have a back order that puts you back like 2 months. That happened to me this year. Thank God I had plenty to pull from. Oh, this is another really good one. Don't get frustrated and auction dump. Sometimes you have a book that's online, let's just say eBay, and you've had it up there for 6 months. Don't get frustrated and just put it on an auction. I was trying to get rid of some inventory by the end of the year, so I put a massive auction for a bunch of books to end in the very end of 2024. And I'd like a $600 9.8 sell for $170. So it used to be if you auction stuff, you can expect it to go for maybe 70 or 80% of what you were hoping for. I don't know where those statistics went because right now, if you auction dump, you might be selling it for half, maybe even a third of what you were hoping for. So stay away from auctions. It's just, whew. You can get really badly hurt there. And I know sometimes you can wind up in a pinch, but it is better to just keep it. Stay strong, keep the listed book, maybe keep doing the 5 every day, and you'll start to see back issues sell. Some of these are obvious, some of these maybe weren't so obvious. All I know is I've really learned some lessons or adapted this already. And I was able to save a lot of money in a very down market last year. Maybe you guys have some advice too. Drop it in the comments below and keep on hunting smartly. Make sure to come on down to Sentiment Depot's Antiques and Collectibles located at 238 West Delaware Ave in Pennington, New Jersey. Find so many great books for just $1 and the lowest prices on key comics around. Enjoy a huge selection of graded comics priced up to 20% lower than current fair market value. We are open from Wednesday to Sunday, closed Monday, Tuesday. You got a collection you want to sell? Bring that too. Can't wait to see you there.